Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Spoiler Alert. Well, it's kind of Spoiler Alert meets, Saturday morning blast off the Sunday edition. And by the way, happy Heathen Easter to all you people out there. And why I say Heathen Easter, because it's not the real Easter. The real Easter is next week. If you follow the Orthodox calendar, which is the calendar that hasn't changed in 2,000 years. So anyway, let me get down to some business first, and then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you don't want to be notified, or it's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you, probably more like an 80-20 chance of them notifying you. Basically 80% they won't, 20% they will. You can hit that bell down below and YouTube won't notify you when I come on live. But if you want to know when I'm going to come on live or a close approximation to it, you can go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. And also I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages at the moment. There's not a lot of streaming that's going on at the moment because there's not a lot of shows out there that are on. That should pick up fairly soon, hopefully. We'll find out in a little bit here. All right. So, I have a little bit of, the new stuff that I've been holding back on from previous weeks. And I know it's been kind of sporadic for me being on. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the background. So, I apologize for that, but it can't be helped, unfortunately. Life goes on, as they say. So, a little bit about what's going on here. We got that the House of the Dragon is going to premiere on HBO on August 21st. August 21st, we've got, the Game of Thrones prequel, I believe it is. Yeah, House of the Dragon. I will be covering that. We'll see how bad or good it is. D&D isn't involved in that one, so I'm sure it'll be better somewhat. But take it with what you will on that one. A little bit what else we have here. Strange New Worlds, of course, is coming out on May 5th, which is kind of funny. That it's right after, May 4th, May the 4th be with you kind of thing. So yeah. So on Paramount Plus, Strange New Worlds is going to be on it's the Christopher Pike prequel that has Proto Spock on there, and it just honestly the trailer looks just really bad. So that's all I'm going to say. Hey Stanley, how's it going? So for those of you who are fans of that, there you go. Stanley says not crazy about Game of Thrones anymore. D&D ruined it for. Yeah, I understand. I understand. It's a prequel though, and I don't even know if this has anything to do with George R.R. Martin anymore, to tell you the truth. So we'll see what happens. And for those, 3 or 4 of you that are interested, Picard season 3 is going to reunite the entire cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation. So, they're all going to be wheeling around in wheelchairs, and it's all going to be about their adventures in the geriatric home and tapioca pudding all around. Bad track from Kurtzman. Shocker. I know. Hey, Joe Greer. The whole thing about Paramount. So everyone keeps saying, well, Paramount Plus has some, actually people are saying Apple Plus has some good stuff, but honestly, not enough stuff for me to subscribe to it. I can't do it. Same thing with Paramount Plus. I just have no desire to subscribe to it. I recently switched over internet providers, and because of switching over to internet providers, I get HBO Max now for free. Essentially, my price raised to this for internet the same that it would cost for my HBO Max subscription anyway. So I'm not really getting it for free. I'm paying for it, but they like to say I'm getting it for free, but that's bullshit. But I have better internet service now as a result of all of it. But anyway, there we go. But it's Plus. It must be good. I know, really. Um, yeah, what was it I just read? Discovery is taking over. What is it? Warner Brothers, or they're taking over HBO Max, or they're buying out part of it, or whatever. So now there's talks that there might be a separate studio that spins off from this called the DC Studios. Because there's nothing that's been cribbed from Marvel Studios at all and all that. But supposedly there's going to be a DC Studios that gets broken off of this whole merger deal, and of course they're going to make DC movies, DC comic movies. We'll see how long that lasts. I mean, hopefully they can actually hire someone that can helm this thing and actually set it straight and get rid of the entire Snyder murderverse completely. I hope it's not Berlanti Studios either, because it doesn't need to be. He's not a DC fan either. Um, I'm sorry to say he will bring in like the worst of the DCs. Berlanti's great about bringing in low budget DC stuff, like extremely low budget DC stuff. But yeah, I'm not a fan of his either. I'm glad that he's brought some stuff to the screen that never would have probably gotten brought in, but he brought like the low budget versions of those characters. So I hope it's somebody else. I would honestly, if they were smart, they would back a couple of dump trucks full of money up to Bruce Timm and Paul Dini's driveways and just dump them there and say, hey, we want you guys to head the DCEU and basically make sure all the scripts coming through and all the movies all align to a certain quality, I guess you can say, and also a certain universe, and they can all mesh together. Doubt that's going to happen, but you know, that would be my wish on all of that. And so, putting in a little more of spoiler alert in all of this. JJ will save the franchise oh god, no, no more JJ Abrams. JJ Abrams should just mind his own shit and do his own shit. Same thing like Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder needs to do his own shit, not any franchise stuff, and just stay away from established stories. He can do Army of the Dead 15 or Army of Thieves or whatever the fuck he wants to do in those genres. Stay away from Romero zombies, stay away from DC Comics. Yeah, all of that. That's all he needs to do. So going into the spoiler alert territory, I did finish Our Flag Means Death, which is Taika Waititi is producing that, and it's on HBO Max. It was okay. It wasn't great. I think it's getting a season 2, and most likely it's going to get a season 2. It is based on real pirates, by the way, too. So Taika Waititi plays Blackbeard, and the main character, the gentleman pirate, of course, Steed, is a real person, and it is kind of he had a midlife crisis, became a pirate, all this stuff. He didn't last long in real life. He only lasted like a year and a half, and then he got caught and killed. So by the British or the French, I can't remember which one it was. So this is all played for comedy. It was kind of okay, kind of not. And the first episode, by the way, if you watch that first episode, you will probably be turned off by it. I almost turned it off completely in the middle of it, and I stuck through it, got into the second episode. The second episode's better. The first episode was directed by Taika, and he went full on New Zealand in the first episode, and it almost ruined it for me. So, yeah, that's all I can say on that. So, Lock and Key is going to be ending with season 3 on Netflix. They announced that. not I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that, ending in season 3. I can see how it would be limited, and I'm fairly sure it's costing a lot for Netflix as well. And it seems that's what their game plan is on most stuff is all the popular series. They're gonna end on season 3 or maybe season 4, maybe even a season 5. But for the most part, nothing past the season 3. And everything else, if you don't, if you do mediocre, you get a season 2. If you do really crappy in season 1, that's it for you. You're welcome, Stanley. A show on HBO Max I do recommend, which isn't genre, by the way. Minx is a story set in the 70s of a woman who wants to create a feminist magazine, like a hardcore feminist magazine, and she can't get anybody to print it, of course. And she runs into a pornographer who kind of comes up with the idea of having male centerfolds, which hadn't been done before, along with her articles in there. So her articles, along with her feminist articles, along with the male centerfolds, and it's pretty fucking funny. So Jake Johnson, of course, is in it from New Girl. And if you get a chance to watch it, it's again on HBO Max. I highly recommend it. They're about 35, 40-minute episodes, somewhere around there. And there's 10 episodes first season. Is that right? Yeah. Because yeah, that was actually pretty damn good. I have to admit. It's funny. I'm gonna warn you right now though, there are a lot of dicks in this one. So yeah, a lot of dicks because of course it's about, the first, you know, uh female centric porn magazine. Even though that's not a real magazine that came out, it's kind of the whole story is a conglomeration of true stories of the time, and they kind of piece them together into this story. So I liked it. It was pretty good. They did a good job. I want to see a season 2 for it. It's definitely worth it. Stanley says they need more thumbnails. Additional seasons don't generate new thumbnails. Are you talking about for the Minx, or are you talking about for Our Flag Means Death? Because Our Flag Means Death, I mean, there really isn't a lot to the thumbnails on that. It's pretty much the same setting, so it's going to look a lot the same. It takes place aboard a ship for the most part. But yeah. Oh, you meant Netflix in season 3. Oh, for Lock and Key. Yeah, I agree. Well, they haven't put anything out about Lock and Key. I mean, other than a date. Actually, have they released a date yet? Yeah, they have released a date on that one. I forget what it is, but it's on the website on my website. Okay. Oh yeah. And geez, in a couple of days here, actually in 3 days, April 20th, Russian Doll season 2 returns to Netflix. I know. I was just as surprised as you were. So I know that they're ending that one at season 3 as well, but season 2 is going to be hitting Netflix on April 20th. That's the one with the Natasha Lyonne who keeps reliving the day over and over again where she dies. And it's very existential. Amy Poehler is one of the writers for it, or one of the producers of it. I forget who else, who's an SNL alumni, who's also involved in it as well. It's really well written. It's very smart. It's very funny. It's like I said, it's very existential as well. It's probably one of the higher up Netflix series that I would recommend. Russian Doll, and season 2 is coming out on Wednesday. So take a look at it. See what you guys think. I really dug it. I need to go back and take a look at the last couple episodes from season 1 to remember what it was before I start watching season 2 again. Because it's been almost 2 years. I want to say almost 3 years. since the first season came out, and that was just because of the pandemic. A couple other things too that were happening, and so that's why they delayed it for so long as they did. Oh, what else do we have here? Oh, yeah. So Disney Plus is working on a Percy Jackson series for the channel, of course, and they've cast Walker Scobell. There we go. For the lead role. And if you don't know who that is, that's the one who played the kid on the Adam Project, the one with Ryan Reynolds. So yeah, he's actually gonna be playing Percy Jackson. Um, okay, I can see that. I mean, Percy Jackson wasn't a bad series. It was just was kind of, I don't know, Disney-esque, Disney-esque. Really not a lot to it. I mean, the best part about it was Nathan Fillion, I would say, out of the movies. So I'm hoping the series is going to be better. And from what I understand, the book's author, or the book series author, is going to be the producer, and also I believe he's the showrunner too, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully it comes out better than the movies do. That remains to be seen. I mean, Disney Plus has been putting out some good stuff, so I can't fault them. For a startup streaming service, they've had the most good stuff to watch, like most original stuff to watch out of any streaming service that's just started up. And I'm talking about, like, your Paramount Plus, your Apple Plus, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Disney Plus has the best that I've seen so far out of all of it, which is why I subscribe to them. We also got a trailer, of course, for Stranger Things season 4, which again is on my Facebook page. If you go to the Suspended Fanimation Facebook page, which again the link is over at suspendedfanimation.com, you'll find the link to that, and I have the trailer up there. We have season 4 split into 2 parts. So we've got May 27th is when part 1 is going to be coming out of Stranger Things season 4, and then Stranger Things season 4 part 2 comes out on July 1st. So we got that splitting up that way. And it looks pretty interesting. Um, Keith Hamilton says, "Whatever happened to Leslie Headland Star Wars project? Is it up there with the next?" Oh, you're talking about the not Rogue Squadron, but Acolyte. Acolyte is still in the works. Keith, there hasn't been any new news on it as of yet, but they're still aiming for 2023, from what I understand. Yeah, it's been very, very hush hush. Supposedly, the rumor is that so the Star Wars celebration happens at the end of May in Anaheim. They're going to be doing that on the 25th, May 25th through the 29th is when they're doing Star Wars celebration. And the rumor is they're going to re-announce that Lars Mikkelsen is going to be playing the live action version of Thrawn and Ahsoka. And also they're going to release who's playing Ezra Bridger, which we already know is Mahad. Fuck, I can't remember his name. The guy who played the live action Aladdin. So he's supposed to be playing Ezra Bridger, which was honestly, it was announced last year, like around summertime last year, and then completely buried. And yeah, now they're gonna you know, announce it again. I actually covered it on this channel back when it first was announced. It's in one of the Saturday morning blast offs back there. But yeah, that they're going to redo that again. But don't be surprised if you don't hear something about Acolyte as well during all of that. So Disney, of course, is being very tight-lipped on anything Star Wars until Star Wars Celebration. I'm trying to actually I forgot that was coming up, and so I applied a little bit on the late side for a press pass on that, and we'll see what happens. Because honestly, I'm not paying the $75 a day or the $400 for the fucking weekend. Well, they only have 2 days left. They have Thursday and Sunday left, so I'm not paying $150 for 2 days spread out like that, and plus whatever hotel costs are going to be, because they're going to be astronomical that weekend as well. Stanley says, I rarely watch anything on D plus except Marvel and Star Wars. I know most of the old stuff. So I find they have not a lot of new stuff to offer, but the Marvel and Star Wars shows are mostly good. There's a lot of actually new stuff on there, Stanley, that is good, like the Jeff Goldblum series. The World According to Jeff Goldblum is kind of weird and quirky, but I like it. The Mysterious Benedict Society is really good, really, really good. I would highly recommend that. Um, what else is there? The Turner and Hooch one sucks. Even Disney Plus thought so, and they canceled it. Plus, you have the entire run of The Simpsons on there as well, and they're doing new Simpsons stuff, on there as well. I'm trying to think of what else. There's all these kinds of little gems that they have scattered throughout Disney Plus, and I find stuff all the time on there. So I still haven't found, like the Apple Dumpling Gang. I'm surprised that hasn't. I don't know if that's on there or not. I haven't actually searched for it. It's been a while since I've seen that. I think I was a child last time that came out. Stanley says, I agree about the Mysterious Benedict Society. See, we agree on something, Stanley. It's not that uncommon. And maybe Only Murders in the Building. Only Murders in the Buildings is on Hulu. Yeah. I know you guys get it differently over there, but yeah, it's on Hulu over here. So the last little bit of news that I have is the Wonder Twins. That's right, Zan and Jaina have been cast for HBO Max, the HBO Max series. I think it's either a series or it's a movie. We don't know which one it is. But KJ Appa, who plays Archie on Riverdale, and Isabel May are going to be playing Zan and Jaina, respectively, on that. And it's going to be a comedy. I don't know how I feel about it, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. It's on the Star Channel there. Yeah. I kind of figured they mesh some stuff together on the Star Channel for you guys. They probably merge the Hulu and Disney Plus stuff together. See, Phineas and Ferb, Keith was past my time, so I never watched that. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on Hulu that's been like a Hulu original that nothing I could think of offhand that's Disney related. But I know that they're, it's kind of funny. Every now and then Disney tries to edit something that they think is too much for Disney Plus. Like the whole Netflix Marvel series, they'll try and edit something, and then people call them out on it, and they edit it back. So yeah, there's all kinds of funky stuff that happens with them on that. But anyway, so yeah, that's all I've got for you guys news wise. For spoiler alert kind of stuff, Stanley says I'm too old for Phineas and Ferb. That was after mine as well. I agree with you, Stanley. That's what happened with me. Is I was too old for that. I'm too old for that shit. And for those of you who don't know that reference, Lethal Weapon. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've been watching really. I mean, other than the two shows Young Justice. So Young Justice is back to releasing one episode a week. And I wish they would fucking release more because every time they put out an episode, it's so damn good. And this is on HBO Max, by the way. Young Justice, of course, being the animated series, they're in season 4 right now. It's pretty much their take on Teen Titans, and also the Justice League is mixed into this as well. Animation is beautiful, the voice work is awesome, the writing is probably some of the best. They should probably use these same writers for whatever DCEU that they are going to create out of all of this, because honestly, they've created a world, a universe, if you will. They've created a literal universe where they keep going back and forth, and it's fairly seamless, quite honestly, where they're going back and forth between what's happening with the outsiders, which are the Young Justice equivalent there, Justice League, what's going on in Atlantis. They have Atlantis has its own storyline too. What's going on in Apocalypse? Because you got stuff going on in Apocalypse. What's going on with the New Gods? Because the New Gods have their stuff going on. Also, what's going on with Superboy, who's now trapped in the Phantom Zone? And I mean, there's just a lot. And everyone thinks that Superboy is dead, but he's not. And also, you have the Legionnaires brought into all of this as well. So, I mean, it's really fucking good, and it's a complex story that they are juggling fairly, fairly well. I was gonna go to, and watch Tokyo Vice, Stanley. I just haven't gotten to it as of yet. Minx trapped me, and I burned through Minx the entire season, the entire first season. Jake Johnson, honestly, he makes me laugh. So, that's kinda what drew me into it, and then it's just the writing and everything else kinda hooked me. It was good. But yes, Tokyo Vice is one of those things that I am gonna get around to. Um, I've also been revisiting Batman: The Brave and the Bold, because that's on HBO Max as well, and I've been going through, and everyone kept saying how childish that show was, that it was a backstep for Batman, and I'm going, "No, it wasn't." Excuse me, if you go and actually watch Batman the Brave and the Bold, there is a lot of like stuff that I would find questionable for kids, quite honestly. Stanley says, not sure if it has too much dick in it for you. It's got a lot of dick in it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. There is a lot of male nudity in Minx. And yeah, dude, I was just kind of like, wow. So they're just going there. And I'm like, all right, you know, fair play. I mean, there's been enough female nudity in films and TV shows and stuff like that that honestly, this quite honestly, once you see the first couple of dicks, you're like, okay, whatever. It's like female nudity. You're like, all right, whatever. I mean, you get over it. So that's all I can say. It's it would be no different than if you were watching like an 80s movie or TV series or something, or HBO series or something like that. That had a lot of boobs in it, and, there's also there are some boobs in it too, and there is some vagina in it as well. There you go. And I see I lose a person as I'm talking about it. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, man. So, but yeah, no, give it a shot. Um, I was gonna make a really bad joke, and I'm like, "No, I'm not going to." Uh, so what else am I watching? I'm still on the fence about, taking a look at, the new movie Death of the Nile, which is on, Hulu at the moment. I'm like, I don't know about that, but I might watch it at some point in time. Stanley says, "I had to buy one of these magazines for women for my girlfriend once. She was, too much chicken to buy for your girlfriend. I understand." Uh, no, they kinda bring that up in this, as well, Stanley. Whoever made this, whoever the production team was, there's some stuff like I guess you could say the driving scenes and stuff like that, 'cause it's set in the early '70s. Nixon is still president at one point, and, they obviously went back into some movies from the 70s and watched how some of that shit was shot, for driving scenes and whatever. Cause I mean, it took me right back to watching some of that. I'm like, yeah, that's a 70s scene. And they did a good job on the production value. You don't come out of it thinking that, oh, this is something shot in the 2000s. That's a throwback. No, it feels like 70s. And actually, the main character who plays Joyce, or one of the main characters, I should say, she is the girl from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. She was the slave that the collector had who grabs onto the gem because she's tired of being a slave for him, and she ends up, blowing up essentially. That's her. I was looking back, I'm like, where have I seen her before? Because I recognized her face, but I couldn't really place her face. And that's where I found it. Was yeah, that was her. And she has a very similar vibe to oh, now I'm blanking on her name. She's married to James Franco's little brother, Dave Franco. Um, oh fuck, I'm blanking on her name, from Glow. She's the one who I thought was going to be a great She-Hulk, and then of course didn't make it. Anyway, very similar acting. Yes, she's the Pink Woman. Yes, exactly. But very similar acting, very similar mannerisms. That you could have interchanged them fairly easily. But yeah, she was the Pink Woman. Yeah, that's about as far as I've gotten. I have my new laptop. It arrived. I just haven't set it up yet. That's why I'm still on the old laptop at the moment. Allison Brie, thank you, Allison Brie. I was blanking on her name, but I wasn't about to go and search for it. But yeah, she's very similar in acting, looks and mannerisms to Allison Brie. I'm kind of surprised. I would have think that, Allison Brie would have been up for this role, and, it would have worked fairly well for her, but maybe she just didn't want to be in the same kind of it's kind of similar to some of the roles that she's been in before, so maybe she just didn't want it. Maybe she didn't apply for it. I don't know. But I think she would have had a really similar she would have had a good chemistry with Jake Johnson. I want to say Jake Johansson, who's a comedian, not the actor. And Jake Johnson does such a good job of playing a fucking 70s sleazeball porn producer that it's pretty funny. I mean, with the wide ass lapels, over the corduroy jacket, with the shirt open to, like, midway down the chest with the chain, and dude, it's funny. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. And that's Minx, by the way, for those of you who are wondering what the fuck I'm talking about. Again, I literally just finished it last night, so that's why it's fresh in my mind. Well, that's his name, is Jake Johnson. What do you want, Stanley? It's subliminal for you. Is that what it is? You're gonna see a lot of Johnsons in that one anyway when you watch it. Jake being one of them. Ah, my God. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. You know. Um, with that said, and on that note, I'm gonna let you guys go for the day. What else do I have going on for the rest of this week, though? Funny you should ask. Tomorrow I'll be off. Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I think so. We'll see what it's going to be. I don't know what it is. I'll surprise myself as well. Wednesday will be a new Moon Knight. That's right. Moon Knight is back with episode 4. Episode 4. As a matter of fact, I need to take a look real quick and see what I've got here on the old lineup of stuff on my schedule. Um, oh, yeah. Well, that's not gonna happen. Pacific Rim: The Black season 2 is gonna be, the final season. It's gonna be on April 19th, but that's gonna be a little too soon for me to review it. Um, so yeah, so I think we're just gonna have to wait on that one. The Batman, by the way, has moved up a date. It's opening tomorrow on HBO Max. So for those of you who want to see the Batman without having to go to the theater, it's going to be on HBO Max starting tomorrow, the 18th. Um, yeah, that's what it's going to be. So yeah, Tuesday will be Is It Worth My Time? Wednesday will be Moon Knight episode 4. And then we come back around again to Sunday with either Sunday morning blast off or Saturday morning blast off. Most likely it's going to be spoiler alert again, is what's going to happen there. So there you have it. It's still going to be a short week because there's not a lot of stuff coming out. You know, there really isn't. This is kind of the dead part of the year where not a lot of new stuff comes out, and there just really isn't a lot of stuff out there to kind of cover at the moment. I gave up, Stanley. So what happened here in California, well, in the United States, is interest rates went from around 3% up to 5%, is what the interest rate just got rose up to. So that's really ridiculous at the moment. But also in California, housing prices, just I'm talking about on condos and stuff like that, have gone up 150 to $200,000 just from February to now. Um, and again, these are for the same crap holes that they were offering just really expensive sums of money for anyway. So I put it on I put it on hold. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of ouch factor on a lot of things. And people are still putting stuff out there. I just watched I have feeds coming into my phone all the time for new places, and one offered this really shitty condo for like what was it? Like $500,000, and they just bumped it up to $625,000, and I'm like, seriously? Because you're in a shit part of town that shouldn't be, I know what part of San Jose they're talking about. And I was like, no, you're in the really shit part of San Jose, which you should be offering $400,000 for your place. This is the San Francisco Bay Area, Stanley. So yeah, it is famous for being expensive, but at the same time, this is just ridiculous to the point where all the real estate agents I've been dealing with are like, this is fucking insane. We've never seen anything like this. And yeah. Yes, and inflation is also a thing as well. Yeah, and that's why everyone wants to invest in real estate as well because of inflation. Because our inflation is what did they say it was? Over 7.5%, I believe, almost 8% at this point. And I think it's more than that. And I mean, my work has already compensated me for that. They've already, bumped us up with inflation, and there's going to be more coming, soon. Yeah. So that's not bad. At least my current job actually covers that, which is good. So, and cars here, by the way, too, Stanley, are just ridiculous. I was actually trying to get an electric vehicle, and there's no electric vehicles you can find in Northern California at all, unless you're willing to pay really ridiculous sums of money. And I just ended up having to buy out my lease on my car that I had, which is a hybrid, but still at the same time. And because even used cars here in California are just ridiculously high as well. They're going for as much as uh, as when they were sold new. That's how much they're going for, and over that as well. I could probably sell my car for like $25,000, and I got it for 23. So you have natural gas heating powered by He who shall not be named in your apartment, huh? I'm sorry. Well, he is full of a lot of gas. So hopefully you're getting it cheap. Uh, anyway, on that political note, I will let you guys go for the rest of the day. Thank you to everybody joining me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right. So with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the rest of the weekend. Have a good heathen Easter out there, you heathens. So before I go, I'll actually explain that what I was talking about. So the difference between Orthodox Easter and heathen, Catholic Easter, I guess you could say, is actually the calendars they follow. So one's Gregorian, one is Julian calendar. The Orthodox one has not changed in over 2,000 years. They didn't change calendars. The Catholicism version, if you will, of it has changed over to a different calendar, and that's why it's on a different calendar. Every now and then they match up on the same day, but this one is not happening this year. Next week is when the real Easter actually happens. So, and actually, Orthodox Easter is why you guys have Easter eggs. I could go into that whole story as well, but you can look it up on your own. Take a look for red Orthodox Easter eggs, and you'll find out the whole story there. Orthodox, we have a fifth columnist. I'm not a fifth columnist, maybe. I don't know. I am part of the, I don't know. Nothing at this point. I don't subscribe to your viewpoint. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again on Tuesday. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up having to explain what the difference is between Easters because it's religion. No one really cares, quite honestly, especially when you're talking about genre and sci-fi and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, have a good rest of your weekend. I will see you again on Tuesday. Stay safe, be well, take care. Get those vaccine shots, get those booster shots as well because they matter. They don't work without the booster shots. And I will see you again on Tuesday. Have a good rest of your day and stay safe out there. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.